There you go.
There we go. Boom.
Sunday leftovers.
Sunday leftovers.
I'm so mad with you.
Why? Were you upset with me?
I'm so upset with you. It's unbelievable that I'm serious.
I doubt it.
No
pun intended.
It's unbelievable that you are planting seeds of doubt.
Seeds of doubt.
In the crowd.
In the faithful.
You're an instrument of the devil.
Oh, you had to go there. You mean the straight up chupacabras, like the straight?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, here we are.
You open, like, what do you say in this?
Pandora's box.
Pandora's box.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's what we did.
What do you think? Let us know in the comments.
Right. So yeah, Sunday was interesting. We're stepping into the extension of Eastertide, which is a season of 50 days after Easter. And it felt right and good to name this Easter, as we celebrated that sort of central time for believers. It felt right to name that there can be a wide berth.
Look, I'm sorry. This is my name over there? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That's okay. I just fixed that. I'm sorry.
Do we carry on? Keep going, or you want to start over?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's because I... there you go. Okay.
So start over?
No.
Oh, okay.
We're fine.
All right.
It's just my name appear over there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it delightful for people to read my name?
No.
Okay, maybe not.
It's okay. Where were we?
You said something about this. It's
good and right this year to name that there's a wide berth around what we accept and don't accept in terms of the facticity of some of the things in the New Testament, even in the Christian story. And so for Easter, we kind of leaned into some of the foundations of doubt, and then it felt right to go further and sort of just want to have a series, and we're going to talk about it, and we're calling it Hello Doubt, Welcome to Breakfast.
Okay. So you are
go there.
Are you saying that you're planning to stay in this spot for a while?
Yes, we're going to follow the story, and we're going to follow specifically the places in the story where the gospel writers are very honest that Jesus did amazing things and they still didn't believe. People doubted. And so basically here's the premise, and it comes from, good therapy and internal family systems as an architecture of understanding the human experience, which is something that I have a lot of kindred towards. You can exile your doubt and act like you don't have it, don't feel it, but it only comes back stronger. And so in a community like ours, I feel like it's time that we begin to just name some of the things. And so the proof was last Sunday we opened the mic, and we didn't know if it would go well. But we opened the mic, and it didn't take but 5 seconds for people to jump in, which sends an interesting signal about a community. Apparently there's enough safety for them to know that they can sit out there and wonder and question.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
I think, from my point of view, I think that it's a good sign that people feel comfortable enough in that place to speak their minds.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. I don't care if people is not super agree or not, or not agree with the thing. It's just that feeling that they feel safe
enough
place,
to say, I don't know that I can believe this.
And valuable.
So we've said this for years, and we mean it a little differently now maybe than we did before. We've said this for years, that it's common behavior and common belief are not what makes us belong. We belong because we belong, and over time, whatever happens to belief and behaviors, those things are shaped in community in predictable ways, but access to the faith community has nothing to do with believing the same thing. And as evidence, I offer simply that the disciples didn't, and they were as close to the God event in Jesus Christ as you could get, and they still didn't. And so we're going to camp in this space, and I know it'll be a little disturbing for some of you. I wonder if you would just, if it's disturbing and it feels disruptive or disorienting, just communicate a little extra with us. You know how to find us. Our emails are super easy. It's our names at austinnewchurch.com. Don't go through the doubt alone. That would be the wrong way to go through doubt, and I think that's the point that we're going to be making on this coming Sunday on the road to Emmaus, Luke 24. Don't go through doubt and despair alone, but certainly stop ignoring the fact that some of these things we've been wondering about for a really long time.
Several years ago, to doubt about something, about the religion, was a very lonely place, and you could feel the guilty and condemnation from people. Now it's different. Now it's something that is on the table, that is open. So if someone has any kind of doubts, like the doubts that they already have and doubts about this series, it's like it's not a so lonely place right now. We can talk about this.
That's right. And in fact, I would suggest what the disciples are doing behind locked doors while there's a foot race going back and forth to the tomb to figure out what in the heck happened and can we accept this? Can we believe this? How does this work? What they were doing was the right thing to be doing. They were gathered in community. That's the right way to wonder. It's the right way to wonder. The right way to question and wonder and deconstruct is in good company. So maybe in an indirect way, in a sort of indirectly intellectual, academic almost way, maybe we're arguing for community again differently, because we need the scaffolding of good, faithful people as we go through some of these things. Yeah. So one of the things that it was kind of a one-off. There were a lot of words on Sunday, y'all. Sorry about that. There was just a lot to be said. One of the things that I mentioned, and it didn't have the main focus of sort of the theme, but I think one of the powerful things about observing Jesus patiently presencing the wonder, the doubt, and the disbelief between the resurrection and the ascension, however long that period is, there's different opinions about how long it is, but it's a period of time. One of the beautiful things to observe about that is the message of peace be with you, right?
Right.
But be with each other as I am with you, on both sides of loss and death and grief. And it goes to your point, when we are believing and excited and enthusiastic, we relate naturally and draw people in. When we wonder and deconstruct and tear things down, and if we're not sure anything will be left, we tend to isolate. And I think one of the beautiful things is that Jesus didn't just leave; he stuck around for the processing of that. And I almost think if you're gonna create a scenario in which Jesus can be found, it's always going to be around good people asking good questions. And to the degree that church stops asking questions, sometimes I think is the degree to which the church has no horsepower whatsoever, except to pull people out of their life and line them up on pews and get all the stripes aligned. If Jesus doesn't show up where the questions are, if there's no questions being asked in church, then I just wonder where the Spirit of God might have gone to, if that makes sense.
Something that came to my mind is for so many of us, for you, for me, for a lot of you guys, we have been reading the Bible through the systematic theology point of view.
Yeah.
For those that doesn't know what is systematic theology, believe me, you know what is, as soon as I explain it.
Yeah.
It's like you take the Bible, you make several things that doesn't make sense altogether, and through reasoning and logic and all sorts of techniques, we make them all fit together. Then we took all of those doctrines and we teach those doctrines through
as if
pulpit.
they were final magnum opus.
Just so we open the Bible and we just see one voice. But this is the thing, when you go to the Bible and start to read it without that background, the systematic theology, you can see the differences in the narratives, and that is something actually good. It's good to realize that it's there in the Bible. It's our eyes have been blind to that reality, but it's good when someone says, something doesn't fit exactly right in that place, and we need to talk about it. I think that's wonderful.
I think that's intellectually honest.
It's scary,
right?
But it's wonderful.
So I don't think we take any other ancient text and use, any other library of ancient texts, because it isn't an ancient text. It's a library of thought.
That's right.
I don't think we take any other library of ancient text and use it to defend itself and try to find ways to blur it all together, so that essentially we're saying for 1,000 people, for 1,000 years or 1,500 years, everyone was contributing to the same storyline. I think that's a little violent to do to an ancient text. But that aside, so let's have a little bit of honest conversation around, if you're ready to say, okay, I'm going to start naming some of these doubts. what you'll find first is that people around you who are not doing that are going to get really, really terrified. They're going to think you lost your faith. For most of us, that's okay. They already think that anyway.
They could be really upset, actually.
But there is a legitimate fear that's built into the operating system of how most of us were raised that tells us to free fall is a bad thing. And so we resist that by hanging on to anything we can. And so we're literally like the person hanging off the cliff, grabbing onto a tiny little root, hoping to not free fall. And I guess I would just suggest mature discipleship, if you can get your head around it and get your heart around it, is a lot more of a free fall than it is a landing. Does that make sense in Spanish?
Yes.
Es caída libre.
Sí, sí.
Yeah, no es aterrizaje, no es... but some of you are going to resist that. And so this is going to get a little tight for some of y'all. Like when you go to get your COVID booster and they say you're going to feel a little pinch. Like it's going to feel a little disruptive. Because I'm going to suggest that the questions you've always had inside, we just bring those out into the open now. So I'm not creating doubt. I'm allowing a safe place for you guys to name that doubt.
Okay, that's one of the definitions about theologians, is that theologians are able to point the things that are already there.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about that.
Right.
So we that's the invitation.
That's the invitation. And I don't have I'm not invested in your outcome being the same as mine.
Right.
You know what's interesting about all this? I still really believe most of this. I don't struggle with the miracles. I don't struggle with the exorcisms. I don't struggle with... my issue is not with the facts of this. My issue is with communities that say things cannot be questioned. That's my issue.
Yeah.
My issue is not... Did he walk through a door? My issue is not, was he the gardener or was he not? Listen, there's something powerful in this story, and I suggested this on Sunday, and I'm interested to know what others think about this. The power in the story isn't the glamorous, glossy, glittery miracles. I've seen all those things growing up in Latin America, bro. You see that and more. Jesus was not the only one to come back from the dead. This is not the only time. I mean, listen. I've seen a lot of things, and I just don't have a big skepticism towards some of those details.
Right.
My resistance is to the thinking that says, if one thing is untrue, it's all untrue.
Yeah.
That's where I can't go. And so, we all have our line somewhere, but brace yourself for a little bit of honest reflection. Let's do this in the open now. Let's take the season of Eastertide. And let's be honest with one another. And I think what will happen in our community, certain voices that we never hear from will start to rise to the surface because they've squelched that voice because they've been afraid. And then perhaps others who can't go this far, that usually have the mic or usually are heard from, maybe they're going to go quiet for a little bit.
Right.
I'm not trying to accelerate anyone's flying apart in pieces, but I think we all have a hope in a post-deconstructive reintegration, right?
Right.
And when we're done, the power of the story is not the miracle. The power of the story is the teachings and the way Jesus lived.
For so many people, well, I can't say for so many people. Let's talk about me.
Okay.
For me, I was taught in the way that I'm walking in this path of the faith, and I need to choose who's my
master,
my companion.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's certainty or doubt, and it's like you need to choose: is this or that? What I realized during the years is that I can walk with both.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Doubt, uncertainty.
Yes.
It's not like I need to choose.
Yeah, who was the one in the New Testament, you'll know this, but who says, I believe, help my unbelief?
Yes.
Who was that? The centurion?
Someone in the Bible.
Yeah,
no,
someone in the Bible. Yeah.
Not centurion. Centurion was very faithful, actually.
Okay.
But it's another guy.
I believe, help my unbelief. I think that's a fair statement. And so if you feel, and I just say this pastorally to those who are a little disrupted today, my heart goes out to you. If you feel like the world underneath you is crumbling, it sort of is. And I think that's a fair assessment. And I think if you fall if you free fall in community with others, I don't think the landing is the point. I think the releasing of the rigid certainties is more the point. And I think Jesus is always going to trip that up. Jesus is always going to. He just isn't boxed well. He doesn't fit nicely in boxes.
Yeah. That's for vampires.
For vampires to go in boxes?
Yeah. Not Jesus. It's a different kind of undead people.
Oh my God. That just happened at minute 15. Wow. A different kind of undead person. No, but I think it's going to be fun. Now, I am aware that what's fun for me isn't necessarily fun for others.
Yeah.
My brain works on a particular set of questions in a nonstop, ongoing way that may disturb others. Just hang in there.
Yes.
Community will end up being the point, and I just want to hear. I want us to build a church that's welcoming even to the doubters. So we've welcomed people from communities that the church has been traditionally unwilling to welcome, and we don't regret any of those things. And so let's keep moving forward. So atheists and agnostics and unbelievers who are connected to our community, let's hear from you now, and let's shape a better world in which belief is not the ticket to the inner circle. It isn't, because if it was, the 12 were all over the place.
Yeah,
they were all over the place. And so next Sunday we always tease a little bit. Deeply, I'm several thousand words into now the sermon on the road to Emmaus, which is, it might be one of my favorite stories of all. These tender days. Yeah. Between oops, the tomb is empty, to whatever happens in the clouds, between resurrection and ascension, these tender days, I see a patience in Jesus that it seems like a transformed Jesus, if I'm honest. So we're gonna take our time with it. The road to Emmaus is a really great story, and here's my guarantee to you: the spaces we create where we ask these questions out loud, we will find Jesus there.
Sure,
we will find him there. Yeah,
and I love it.
Turns up there every time. So Sunday leftovers. Pow.